All right, and now we're got some of the news out of the way. Let's venture in and settle down a bit. We're very excited about A Song of Dan and Josh, the show where myself and Josh walk through each and every chapter of George R.R. Martin's as yet unfinished fantasy magnum opus. We are currently reading A Clash of Kings. We're about a third through, and a little over a third, and 2/5. And today we are talking about, I gotta get it right. Well, here, I'll do the math. No, today we are talking about Jon 3, the third Jon Snow chapter. Okay. I'm trying to come down from the first manic part of this
I feel like
episode.
if somebody's like listening to this on the podcast, they think they accidentally like switched it to like
NPR
1.4 slower or whatever it is. You can adjust the speed.
I was very manic the entire first half of the show. I'm trying to come down a bit. By the way, yes, we are available to do in podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. If you want to listen to us and get freaked out with us and excited during your commute. Okay, so what happened in this chapter?
Lots of stuff happened. We had, well, not a lot happened, but there was a lot of context. We got more references to the White Walkers.
We did.
It also made me think of the scene in the show where the baby gets turned into a White Walker, because we're referencing
that is the baby.
Yeah, we're referencing like the babies that are going to go to the cold gods. I think that they were called the cold gods or something like that.
Gilly calls them the cold gods, the ones in the night, the white shadows.
That's excellent. Wasn't Scottish, but
that's my Gilly impression.
I know it was Gilly, and also hello Gilly. We have Gilly in this chapter
and Craster. So basically, this is Jon. He's still beyond the wall.
Craster's Keep.
Craster's Keep, which I wanted to read the description because I like the description of Craster's Keep they had. So okay, this is Jon beyond the wall. They're going to find what the hell is up beyond the wall. Why are all the wildlings disappearing? Why are people disappearing? Why are they vanishing? And they're hitting up Craster, who is a daughter marrying, incest loving, son sacrificing weirdo.
Yeah, some weird like Charles Manson vibes minus the murder.
I mean,
it was definitely
Charles
like a hippie
Manson
commune.
vibes, like if his family had no choice.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was like that hippie commune.
Kind of.
Like, I mean,
it's kind of like this. Jon had never thought to find a stone castle on the far side of the wall, but he had pictured some sort of Motte and Bailey with a wooden palisade and a timber tower keep. What they found instead was a midden heap, a pigsty, an empty sheepfold, and a windowless daub and wattle hall scarce worthy of the name. It was long and low, chinked together from logs and roofed with sod. The compound stood atop a rise too modest to name a hill, surrounded by an earthen dike. Brown rivulets flowed down the slope where the rain had eaten gaping holes in the defenses to join a rushing brook that curved round to the north, its thick waters turned into a murky torrent by the rains. This place sucks.
Yeah. I'm not going there on vacation, that's for sure.
The door to Craster's Keep was made of 2 flaps of deer hide. This place sucks. This is just, it's like Leatherface's house.
Yeah.
If the family like lived in a snowy place rather than, where do they live? I don't know, the South somewhere.
This is Texas or something like that.
I never actually seen it
somewhere.
Anyway, it sucks.
Yeah,
and
big time.
They're here to talk to Craster, who is this. He's a wildling, but he doesn't live like wildlings kind of, they're free spirits. They just go wherever. But Craster has a house. It's a crappy house, but he has one. And like you said, it's kind of a Charles Manson thing where he's just, he's living here with all his daughters who he also marries. And they're all just very dysfunctional and bad. So why are they going here in the first place? Why do we want this guy's advice?
I don't want this guy's advice. I was creeped
But why
out.
do the old bear? Why does Lord Commander Mormont? Why do the Night's Watch want him?
Well, we're talking about the wildlings in this chapter too. So it's all about going north of the wall.
Yes. That's how you're doing that. Okay, so they want to go there because they need this guy, as bad as he is. And he is bad. I think it's kind of almost weird how little the Night's Watchmen don't comment on how bizarre he is. Jon asks, how many wives Craster have? And the one guy's like, more than you ever will, brother. Well, it's not so hard when you breed your own, which is a really flippant way to say he marries his daughters. I know, it's gross. But the point is, he's their recon guy.
Yeah.
He's their guy in enemy territory who knows what's going down.
Yeah.
He knows things that they do not know. They are not wildlings. They are not native.
No.
They need somebody who knows this place. They want to find out where all the wildlings are going, what this King Beyond the Wall is doing. I mean, it's sort of like if U.S. intelligence, if you're a white guy, you can't walk into, a hostile Middle Eastern country like Iran just go like, hey, you want any intelligence on you? Like, it's not going to work.
No, it did remind me of like, drug cartels or kind of getting your inside man and, you're man in Juarez or something like that, where it's like you're kind of playing both sides. Where you're not in with this guy. You don't want to associate with this guy, but he's giving you the information that you need. So.
Yeah, when they're going away later, I think Lord Commander Mormont just tells Jon, it would be an ill day for us if Craster died. Your uncle could tell you of the times Craster's Keep made the difference between life and death for our rangers. So basically, they need this guy because he is like an actual place they can, I don't know, what do you call take refuge beyond the wall, where it's very, very harsh and very, very scary, and it's full of zombies and one's going to kill them.
Yes.
So as bad as he is, they do kind of need him.
Yes. Julie says she would give it a 1-star rating, which is accurate.
If they could do less, I would. Yeah, it's bad. They offer to take Craster south of the wall. They're like, dude, things are getting weird here. People are disappearing. Why don't you come south with us? He actually refuses.
Yeah, he's like, I like it weird.
I guess he does.
Essentially.
Is that the reason why he refuses him? He likes it weird?
That's the reason I interpreted. I was like, this dude's he's in his little hippie commune.
Yeah, I think it's part of like, how folk get dug in.
Yeah.
Like, even if he's in a bad situation, at least he kind of controls his own little crappy corner of the sky.
Yeah.
Like, this is awful. I live in a mud heap in where there's no civilization, and I've got a hole of pigs, but it's mine. I'm a godly man, and the gods keep me safe. If whites come walking, I'll know how to send them back to their graves. Though I could use me a sharp new axe. Like, he's bargaining for them to give them an axe. Like, they're talking about, so, zombie apocalypse is coming, huh? And he's like, I could tell you if you give me some wine. And like, where are your priorities, man? Which part of that, of course, is that, talk about like playing both sides, he's kind of a wildling, so he knows them. He's kind of a Night's Watchman because he actually like hosts Night's Watchman in his place, but wildlings don't usually do that. And he's kind of also in league with the damn White Walkers.
Yeah, he's kind of the middleman everywhere. I was imagining in this chapter, in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Terry Gilliam's character, who's like, you have to answer the questions across the bridge. I was picturing that guy as this guy.
Yeah,
I was like, that adds up. Just blind, stupid old guys, but he's like, he knows everything because it's like his little patch of land where he's the king of the crap heap. Like it might not be much, but he is the guy that the wildlings go to, that the Night's Watch go to. He's in with like the White Walkers. Like nobody can be in with them, but like he's not like afraid.
I mean, he has like a bit of a
weird connection.
Well, what's implied is that he has like an agreement with them. I learned recently of something called the Iron Law of Institutions. You ever heard of this thing?
I didn't know.
We're going to get sociological on it for a second. It's the idea that once you're in a power structure, your main goal, like you may have gone in like with an intention to, I'm going to use this to better the world, yada, yada, yada. But once you're in, your goal becomes maintain where you are.
Yeah.
So once he's in, I mean, maybe he could do better for himself if he went south and took his wives south, but he's in. You're in a structure. You're not giving up what you have. Like, that's just the way the human brain works in sometimes. I'll come back to you next week with more of my sociological research. Anyway, with the White Walker stuff, so we learn basically that Gilly comes to Jon in the morning.
Yes.
Which, by the way, another really, really pretty passage I want to read because I liked it.
Do it.
When Jon wakes up and he looks around, and it's so gross and disgusting, midden heap and the pigsty, whatever. Jon says, he wakes up in the morning and says, like, things are kind of pretty in the morning with the frost is there. Every blade of grass was carved from emerald. Every drip of water turned to diamond. Flowers and mushrooms alike wore coats of glass. Even the mud puddles had a bright brown sheen. Through the shimmering greenery, the black tents of his brothers were encased in a fine glaze of ice. What a nice little, kind of contemplative, silent, quiet morning moment, where you see the beauty of this place amid all this crap.
It's the little things.
It's the little.
It's the small moments that count.
I think it's a very nice moment.
It is. It's actually a very good moment.
But yeah, that give him a bit of a reprieve. And then Gilly comes and like begs me with him because Craster's going to sacrifice my son to evil dark gods. So
the cold gods.
It ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically Gilly comes to Jon and is like, the fat one told me that you were brother to a king and you could take me with you. And he's like, Sam, what are you doing to me? And basically she wants him to take her with them because she is pregnant and it's a son, according to, the wife who knows these things. And she says, if it's a girl, that's not so bad. She'll grow a few years and he'll marry her. But now since it's a boy, she's at 6 and knows these things. He gives the boys to the gods, the cold gods, the ones in the night, the white shadows. So the implication is he's given his sons to the White Walkers to go be turned into White Walkers himself or something, which is how he's sort of in with the White Walkers, how he's playing 3 different sides of this thing.
Yeah.
The Wildlings, the Night Watch, and the White Walkers. He gets around this dude.
Yeah.
So, Gilly, I guess questions are, what the hell, Sam? Like, should he have offered this? We don't see Sam offering this, but I imagine he, just saw her and... she gave him one glance and one smile. He was like, I'll take you with us, is what I picture happening. Should he have offered? Is Jon right to refuse? Just what do you do? Because again, Craster says, don't touch my wives. I will kill you. You're not supposed to do this. And remember, they need Craster. They need him on their side, however horrible he is. But Gilly is, pregnant and desperate and afraid, and her son's going to be sacrificed. What do you do? Jon says no. His attack is, look, I can't. I'm sorry. My boss told me no.
I'm with Jon on this one. Because, what is he going to do? He's kind of playing by the rules here. He has to refuse. And I get it, because he's not yet quite in his rebellious,
he's not a leader.
Type of thing.
No, he has people over him.
Yeah, so he's got to do this. I don't necessarily know that he wants to do it. He knows that he has to do it.
He says, Sam's heart was as big as the rest of him, fat joke, but for all this reading, he could be as thick as granite times. It was impossible and dishonorable besides. So why do I feel so ashamed? That's what he was thinking.
That's good.
Yeah, right? That's pretty good.
That was real good.
Yeah.
Emmys.
There
it goes. No, and I also think that Jon, I think he's practical and understands, what are we going to do with this? We have a mission. We have to go where we're going and do what we're doing. Why are we going to add to this with somebody who can't help, who is going to end up being probably a burden and is going to either get killed or get people killed because we're trying to keep them alive.
Yeah, and also, if you take them, then you alienate the person you need to shelter you when things get really bad.
And then there's that. Yeah, so there's so many moving parts here that aren't that hard to avoid. And Jon is able to do it because he's it's the anti-Ned thing, where Ned is Ed. Ned.
His name's Ned.
Eddard,
yes.
Ned.
Mr. Stark.
He probably would have done the honorable thing and tried to find a way to make everybody happy and do the right thing, which would be, yes, we're going to protect the women and the children. But Jon is able to kind of move away from that and not do that, even though it's in his heart and his soul. He knows what is right isn't always necessarily the thing that you should do. Whereas Ned literally got killed because he couldn't determine.
Right. Well, I think there's also a thing. I'm not sure Ned would have done it. Well, then again, no, he probably would have.
I think so.
Jon even brings up to his boss, Jorah Mormont, he's like, my father said, and Mormont's like, what did he say? And I don't know, I didn't write down the quote, but he said something like, he said that some bannermen aren't worth having, basically saying that, look, Craster is jackweed, and we're better off not having him. And that's when Lord Mormont comes back with, yes, it'd be bad. He's the world's better off with him dead, but the Night's Watch would suffer for it. We need him as bad as he is. And he says, your heart is noble, Jon, but learn a lesson here. We cannot set the world to rights. That is not our purpose. The Night's Watch has other wars to fight. So the idea being it'd be nice to be able to snap your fingers and solve the injustices of the world. But sometimes, according to this little view, the best you can do is to try and affect the change you can within the rules that are set up for you. I think it also has something to do with institutions. The Night's Watch would like to, and I also like that Jorah Mormont does say, look, if I were his wives, there are 19 of him, 19 of them went a Craster, I would just kill him. And I'd be fine with that, but I'm not going to help him do it because it's not my place. It's not, we need him. And if they kill him and I come back here and he's dead, we'll live with it.
Sucks to suck, but...
What's that?
It sucks to suck, but essentially.
It sucks to suck, yes. So it is a needle to thread.
It is.
And
the analogy I was thinking of was what this guy is like when the FBI has one of like the mob guys, like Jack Nicholson's character in The Departed,
Sure.
where he's like he never ever goes to prison because he's a rat.
he's faking, yeah.
So he's an informant. So that's essentially what this guy is.
Yeah, exactly. He is totally that. And yeah, another morally gray character in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Jen Casey says you pick your battles.
You pick your battles.
You pick your battles.
Excellent, Jen Casey.
Also, Leaf Underhill says she's never heard of the iron law of institutions before.
That's
new for her.
It's like in like a Wikipedia hole.
It's new for me too.
Sometime on like, I'm pretty sure I phrased it wrong. Maybe I'll get a definition next week. That's about all I had this week. I like Dolores Ed, who's like this.
Yes.
Who is in the show.
I do remember Dolores Ed.
Yeah, he's around. He dies in the Battle of Winterfell, but he's here, and I like that. Like Martin gives him all these like sarcastic lines. Have you noticed that the rain stopped the instant I had the roof above me? It'll start again now that I'm back out. Gods and dogs alike delight to piss on me. He's like dry guy like that. I also like the bit where Sam was about to call Craster a bastard, but then stops because he's with Jon. He's like, he doesn't want to make it awkward. Yeah. And John's like, you can say it, Sam. I know what a bastard is. It's fine. Which is a cute moment. Oh, Sam.
Sam.
Why did he offer to take Gilly with them?
Who knows? Who's to say?
Us. We're experts. We're analyzing this.
Who is to say, Dan? It's open to interpretation.
Okay.
It's like it's a song of ice and fire. All songs, music. It's open to whatever you want it to be.
All right. Well, we can think about how to approach things next week, when we'll be doing Theon 2. And we will see you back here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Winners Committee Facebook page to watch us live. We'll be doing more news, recapping the Emmys. We'll see who wins. I'll be curious to see about that. Whatever else comes up, maybe some non-Game of Thrones stuff if we don't get crowded out. More Song of Dan and Josh. And if you want to catch us on podcast form or on iTunes, Google Play. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.